There have now been 5,000 cases reported in the United States. Worldwide, nearly 9,000 people. And health experts still not officially calling it a pandemic.
President Barack Obama has declared swine flu a national emergency. The move gives hospitals more leeway in where they treat patients. Some hospitals have opened drive-thrus and drive-up tent clinics to screen and treat swine flu patients. They hope to keep infectious people out of regular emergency rooms and away from other sick patients. It also addresses a financial question for hospitals. They can get reimbursed for treating people at sites not typically approved. The change comes as the U.S. death toll from H1N1 swine flu has topped 1,000. 46 states have widespread flu activity, but distribution of the swine flu vaccine has moved slower than expected. Only 11 million doses have gone out. The government hopes to have about 50 million doses of swine flu vaccine out by mid-November and 150 million in December. Matt Friedman, The Associated Press.
So much like a disaster declaration before a hurricane, the president today declared the swine flu a national emergency. The White House says it's not meant to scare anyone. It simply loosens some bureaucratic red tape to make it easier for hospitals to get what they need should the epidemic get worse.
January to February is when we see the peak, as we call it, of the regular flu season. For swine flu or H1N1, which started in April, we're seeing the peak numbers actually right now in terms of 46 states in the country reporting widespread activity. The key point here, Jeff, is we don't know what the future will bring in terms of H1N1 cases, and that is largely why the president took this preparative step to declare this national emergency.
Basically, the earlier we get the vaccines, the better.
Absolutely.
Okay, Dr. Jennifer.
Coronavirus team are significantly ramping up the fight against the disease.
Thank you very much, everyone. I am officially declaring a national emergency. Two very big words.
The announcement unlocks
the coronavirus taking a greater toll on the U.S. by the hour, with the number of deaths now up to 48, more than 2,100 confirmed cases here in the United States. Millions of Americans now cut off from life as they've known it, fearing they will get sick and wondering when this nightmare will end. This hour, I'll talk with the governors of Maryland and Ohio. First, let's go to our chief White House correspondent, Jim Acosta. Jim, the president is promising to do more while insisting that a lag in coronavirus testing over these past few weeks is not his fault.
That's right, Wolf. After coming under bipartisan pressure up on Capitol Hill, the president went ahead and announced that he is declaring a national emergency in the fight against the coronavirus, also announcing that he's going to be using his executive authorities to free up some $50 billion.
Nick Watt is joining us from California. Nick, the outbreak is worsening from coast to coast.
Absolutely right, Wolf. And now the National Guard has been mobilized in 7 states. Come Monday morning, there will be more than 15 million children across this country who are not in school. Many, many large employers, including our own, telling any workers who can to now work from home. Wolf, life as we knew it has changed.
The Chinese virus on our nation's students.
These labels and titles continuing to trigger acts of hate across the country. Asian American outrage now trending on Twitter, reacting to the president's language.
Trump's comments, what it does is distance Asians from the rest of America and the rest of the world by targeting Asians and putting a face, a culture as someone or something to blame for this virus.
Sam Louie.
That began in Mexico is now suspected to have reached New York City. Other cases are reported from Kansas to California.
In Mexico, where the epidemic began, at least 68 people have died. More than 1,000 are ill. Schools and all public events were canceled throughout the country Saturday to slow the spread of the virus.
Okay, why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus? There are reports of dozens of incidents of bias against Chinese Americans in this country. Your own aide, Secretary Azar, says he does not use this term. He says ethnicity does not cause the virus. Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all, no, not at all. It comes from China. That's why. It comes from China. I want to be accurate.
About Chinese Americans.
Yeah, please.
The swine flu outbreak began, of course, in Mexico. Dozens of people were killed there.
In China, authorities have quarantined Mexican tourists in hospitals and hotels. And in Mexico, where the outbreak began, cautious optimism from health officials, saying the virus is in a declining phase. But officials in the U.S. aren't so sure.
When we look at this virus right now, we're not seeing some of the things in the virus that have been associated in the past with more severe flu. That's encouraging, but it doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet.